Welcome, everybody. You found us again. This is Mad Hen, episode number 3, and we're going to talk about what's pissing us off. I'm John Madero.
Hi, I'm Steve Hennessy, and what's pissing you off today, John?
Well, I don't know if you saw this or not. I'm sure you probably did. We now have a disinformation committee in Washington. And I have a feeling that's because Elon bought Twitter, is what I think, is what's going on there. And they're talking about all this disinformation coming out of Russia or Biden's laptop or whatever else in Washington that they have. And the lady they put in charge of it, I think her last name is Janowski, something like that. Man, I don't know anything about her, but I've read some things about her. She's pretty volatile in this stuff and what she believes in.
Have you seen that TikTok video on her dancing around and acting stupid? And they took it down. They made it private or something. You can't go to TikTok and see it anymore. So they're already blocking her for her information. So, my thing on that is, man, when did these liberals get so damn socialist? I mean, they're just, and this goes into what I wanted to talk about. They've just gone so far to one side that they believe their opinion is the only opinion valid and everything else is terrorist, disinformation, but it's never free speech. It's almost funny how radical they've gotten in their thinking, and they don't even see it. It's just crazy. And I don't think this woman's just another example of the nuts that Biden's putting in his administration, I guess.
Well, it kind of violates the amendments of free speech. Every day you can find a protest going on someplace around the world, and a lot of times it's very justified, or they have a good cause that they're doing it for. But if they want to squash what we read or what we interpret, whether it's on Politico or Fox or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, that's a whole different animal. That leftist side trying to control everything that we're trying to think and do.
Yeah, they want to influence. It's funny because they call it disinformation, but it's not disinformation. It's not phony information coming out of Russia or the news or CNN. They want to label stuff disinformation because, like you said, they're wanting to curb your freedom of speech. Whatever happened, you got a right to say whatever the hell you want to say. I mean, you know what they're going to do? They're going to use this as, and us being Texans, we know they're going to use this for crap like at the border. They're going to say, oh, that information coming out of Texas is wrong. It's disinformation. They're telling lies. They're not, there's no way 7,000 illegals are coming across the border every day because they've never fucking been to Texas to find out. We know here what it's like. What's 21, 22 million people in Texas that they count, probably another 5 million that are here that they don't count.
Let me jump in here. That's a great point, because let's think about this for just 1 second. Who qualifies that information is disinformation?
Right.
Like, one person's sitting there thinking about, here's a great example. Man, Steve, you're a bad dude. Okay, what does bad mean? Does bad mean that you're a great guy? Cool. That's how I say it. But you're not a bad guy. You're not a criminal. You're not anything like that. But that interpretation, I was taught a long time ago in a class about disinformation and being proper in an email etiquette. If you type out an email to anybody, there's no inflection, there's no voice inflection, there's no mood, there's no attitude, unless you want to put 13,000 exclamation points inside it. But you don't know exactly how that person is conveying. So you have to be real careful, even when you put out emails and such, to do that. But this disinformation, when you have an almighty, person that's saying, that's wrong, you're right. Oh, there's no 7,000 people come across that border. No, it's more like 18,000 people come across that border.
Yeah. And since when do they get to decide that? When does the government get to decide what's disinformation? Where in the Constitution does it say the government gets to tell you what to, I mean, look, technically, you could say religion's disinformation. There's no empirical evidence of none of that. I mean, you could say a lot of things are different information, but on the other hand, I could also believe that Joe Smo down the street here preaching out in the middle of the highway is God, but that's my right to believe it. That's not different. That's not disinformation. If I want to believe that dude's God, that I can believe that dude's God. That's my constitutional right. That is not disinformation. According to these dudes, you watch people like Fox News, everything that comes out of that channel will be disinformation. Some of it is, but I mean, so is the same shit that comes out of CNN and on the same. Well, I'll save that for my topic. When they, like you say, when they do that, whose rights are they stepping on? I mean, I heard years ago. I was listening to Alito. Well, one of the Supreme Court justices is giving a talk, and I was just listening to it on YouTube or something. And he said, people who are willing to slowly let these people chip away at the Constitution, they're just scraping around the edges of it. They're just peeling it away slowly around the edges. And he goes, over about the next 50 or 60 years, all you'll have left is one little scrap of paper that has only their ideas. And you have to follow that. Now, isn't that socialism? I mean, when does this shit end? Who wants the damn United States government to tell everybody what to do? I don't want the United States government in charge of a damn thing, nothing. All I want them to do is defend our ass. The U.S. government is supposed to be there to protect the United States from foreign invaders and stuff like that. They don't have a right to any damn thing else. And like you said, disinformation czar. And isn't it funny they put that in the Department of Homeland Security? Isn't that interesting?
Well, you're exactly right. But taking that one step further, if the U.S. government is supposed to protect the U.S., why aren't they at the border putting the border wall up? Why aren't they sending people down there? Our illustrious governor here, Governor Abbott, he's busting to D.C. and dropping them off.
Yeah.
And they thought that was a political sham from our governor who said that and is doing that. But yeah, I mean, we won't dive into political beliefs too much here. We will at a later date, but things have changed drastically under the new regime up there.
Yeah.
Inflation is out of whack. Wife and I went to the store yesterday. We spent $112 and didn't get hardly anything. I was like, Jiminy crickets, man, everything has gone through the freaking roof. You can't buy a car now. Let's be brutally honest. There's nothing out there. Hell, I had an offer for my wife's car that was more than what we paid for it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I sell it. I can't buy anything because it's going to cost me through the nose.
Well, and we're just a hair off topic on the disinformation thing. But on that note, the Federal Reserve just raised the interest rates. Now, so I was telling my wife that, if you don't have a fixed rate mortgage, your ass is in trouble. And
totally agree.
For the people who think that this is going to get better anytime soon, man, you're living in a fucking delusional world, man. I mean, they raised interest rates. The stock market fell like insane yesterday, but it's going to take a couple of years to correct. And I guarantee you've already had 1 quarter of negative growth, and we're going into another one for sure. We're already going to be in a recession. I saw a poll the other day that still said, I think we talked about this just a hair last time too, like 38% of the people think Biden's doing a good job on the economy and the economy's okay. I mean, what are they living in that they think that? Are they just so blind to that Biden is just their big hero? Look, I saw a package of donuts, 12-pack of donuts at one of the local stores about a month ago for $3.99. I saw that same package this morning for $7.99 for a 12-pack of donuts. That crap's went up $4 in a month, and it ain't going away. And it wouldn't kill these elected officials to take some damn economics classes. You can't just print all the, everybody's so jazzed about these stimulus checks. We got all these stimulus checks. We printed all this extra money. We gave people all this extra money. And look at the inflation now. I mean, sooner or later, somebody takes some damn social responsibility. Or is it just let's let the government give us everything? We're going down a hill we may not be able to crawl out of for a good long time. You're going to have someone like Ronald Reagan or someone come along and go, look, we ain't spending like this no more. Remember how it was before Reagan became president. It's like that now. Crime was completely out of control. New York City was completely out of control. We had gas lines. The gas prices were through the roof. If you could even get gas, people were bitching about how high it cost for milk and stuff back then. They ought to see it now. It's the same situation that happened about 1978, 79. Before Reagan started in about 80, 81, when the economy finally started. You remember trickle down economics and all that stuff. We're going to cut the highest tax rates. We're going to do this. And it worked. But we've got the same thing. Crime's out of control. We could go on this thing and bitch about crime for 15 hours. Some dude the other day, remember that little Hispanic kid that the guy murdered on the street that they let out on bail? Yep. No cash bail. They just let the dude out. This guy murdered a little boy walking home from school,
Yeah.
And
what kind back to these judges that do things. Okay.
Yeah.
I never realized, and this is on me, I fully take total responsibility. I never paid attention to it. But judges carry a big stick when it comes to these criminals about letting them out on bail.
It's enormous. It's enormous. And I'll tell you something else, and this is a little personal for Houston. That Lisa Hidalgo needs to be voted the hell out of office. That woman, I can't, maybe we're getting too local politicky here, but I don't see where this woman gets a right to say everybody has to wear a mask. Everybody has to do this. Everybody has to do. I'm so fed up with that Corona bullshit.
Oh yeah. In our local community here where Steve and I live, if you go down to a local drugstore or to a local Wally World or Ace Hardware or Home Depot, I'm gonna throw out a number. I'm gonna guess 90% of people are not wearing masks anymore.
And haven't for the last year.
They're just tired. They're mask fatigue is what they are. Mask fatigue.
And you know what? And give props to Texas. I don't care what any liberals or any of the other people say, how many people, the governor of Texas said, hell with this. We're not wearing, you want to wear a mask, you wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Well, that's how it should be. That's how it should be with the disinformation and the other stuff you're talking about. You got a right to protest, peaceful protest. But see, they're getting now, and this is going to kind of go into my topic of what's pissing me off, is this Supreme Court ruling that got leaked the other day. Now, we'll kind of go into the part about who the hell leaked that ruling. That's never happened in the history of the Supreme Court. What political damn insider is sitting in there in that one of those Supreme Court justices' offices that leaked that paper? And when has the Supreme Court ever been political? Never in the history of the United States. And this one fool leaked the paper out because he's probably so liberal. That goes against that. These people are trying to get the addresses of these Supreme Court justices to go protest at their home. I'm almost to the point to some of these radicals. Shoot and kill a few of these people in your yard. Get a gun and shoot some of them. What right do you have to protest in my yard? It's just a damn ruling. And I'll tell you something else. About 90% of these bastards are misinformed on what the ruling said. They did not overturn Roe versus Wade. They rejected it and sent it back to the states. The states can say yes to it. The states can say no to it. They did not overturn it. Abortion will not be illegal in the United States. That is not what that ruling says. And for them to just come out and blanketly say, oh, they overturned it. And what kind of person thinks it's just okay to kill your baby? I don't get that crap to begin with at all. And that's not even a religious viewpoint. I don't understand that. Oh, let's stab a giant needle in it and suck the brains out of an unborn baby because it's not a human. Planned Parenthood is the biggest full of shit organization on earth. First of all, it's called Planned Parenthood. Come on, it's for people who don't plan anything. Also, you got the morning after pill. Go take that. There's other alternatives. Now, I'm not saying, they'll say, well, then how about you raise the baby then? Well, I ain't going to raise that goddamn baby either. That's just people they're irresponsible and they're arrogant. And their arrogance wants to be what guides them to, oh, it's my body, my choice. So that's an arrogant ass statement. It just is. It just is. Don't get pregnant then. Have some damn responsibility, have some morals, and have some values to take the damn pill. You can take birth control. You can do all kinds of shit, but don't throw this my body, my choice shit out on me.
I think there's one caveat in that deal, and I agree with you. I think there's one caveat in that deal, and this is a tough call. This really, truly is. Unfortunately, rape is part of society. It boggles my mind how somebody could possibly ever do that. But if a woman becomes pregnant because she is raped, that's a little bit different animal.
Yeah.
That's sad in so many ways. But once again,
yeah. And rape, they always say rape's a violent crime, not a sexual crime. It's an act of violence. It's
right.
The people that do it that's how they throw their control on them. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rape them. It's an act of violence, and it's not. And people that are listening to this may say one thing or the other. And I'll tell you the truth. I'm all over the board on this abortion. Don't give a shit. You want to kill your baby, kill your baby. That's in the Constitution. That goes back to our freedom of speech thing. You want to do it. You want to do it. Do it. Just don't kill your baby on my front porch. I mean, so I'm all over the place on it. I have no religious stance on it or nothing. I mean, it's just sometimes I'm going, well, but like I said, they get to the point of arrogance when they've got children out there protesting it. What the hell does a kid know about abortion? And then they want to say they overturn it. Well, they're going to overturn it. And they're not. I mean, see, where is the White House on that? Because that's disinformation. They're not going to overturn it. Listen to what the goddamn little leaked memo said. The court doesn't do that. They don't hardly ever overturn a law. They'll either reject it and send it back to the states. They'll overturn it for constitutional rights and send it back to be reworked and sent back to the court. They don't blanketly hardly ever do that. But all of a sudden, these conservative justices are just all political, right? And they're going to overturn it, and it's not going to be. And that's not what it says. Abortion is straight up going to be 100% legal in California. I can guarantee you. It's a liberal state. They're already talking about putting it in their state constitution. Well, that's what the Supreme Court said. We're giving the option back to the states. Texas, it's not. There ain't going to be a Planned Parenthood anywhere in Texas, but it's a concern. It's a red state. You ain't going to find one nowhere. But, and probably not Florida either. But
not to change subjects, but a little bit of a joke here. The three things you never supposed to talk about, you have to get an argument your whole entire life is
what?
Politics, abortion, and religion.
Yeah, that's probably right.
We put us 2 out of 3 so far.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, and I'm not sure the discussion is all that political. I think it kind of starts to go down a political avenue. And that's why I said, I'm kind of all over the place on that abortion thing, because I'm not that conservative minded on it. And I'm not that liberal minded on it. And like I said, I kind of don't really give a shit. And I've heard people argue, well, it's a woman's issue. It's only a female issue. And it's sometimes, and I think you have to have that's a right to life issue too. All this other stuff. When is a fetus a fetus? When is a baby a baby? And then you get into, but then they want to drag religion and all that bullshit into it. Oh, well, God says, well, God, as far as I know, never said anything. I've never heard God talk to anybody. You don't see God on Saturday standing up somewhere going, hey, I'm God and y'all can't do, So when does the issue become the issue? Huh?
He shows up occasionally. We see the Jim Joneses, and I'm going back in time, but you see these self-proclaimed messiahs come out of nowhere. And I don't know. I don't want to get into that on this episode, but we will. We got to talk about that too. How in the world do people follow these guys? Really? How do you get so passionately engrossed to follow somebody like that?
Well, and that's probably a good point. We probably should do a damn episode on that. How do you follow someone like David Koresh? How do you follow Charles Manson?
Exactly.
Manson goes, okay, I'm this, and all the women have to sleep with me. And Koresh was the same way. And look at Jim Jones. How many people committed suicide in Jonestown? Was it 1,800 or something? It was ridiculous. How in your mind? I mean, and only thing
And he poisoned everybody. He talked everybody into drinking a poison.
yeah, they drink that cyanide, that Kool-Aid, except the children, which they murdered. Yeah, they murdered the children. They injected most of the children with it. But man, how do you convince people that that's okay? We're all going to see God today. Well, hell, in most of these churches, if you commit suicide, they say you go to hell. So
Yeah.
how does that square with their Bible? I mean, these dudes are straight up nuts. It just, man, that is one extreme to the other. That kind of goes back to your thing with the dang disinformation czar lady. And like I said, why did they put that in Department of Homeland Security? You know why? Department of Homeland Security is in charge of the damn border.
Yep.
You know, they're in charge of illegal immigration. They're in charge of the border. They're in charge of all that incoming, you know. So we're going to put this disinformation czar. I guess she'll have weekly press conferences. You know, that old redheaded lady that does the press conferences for Joe Biden at the White House, you know, she's quitting. She's had enough. I mean, you know,
a year or so. And then
yeah, maybe a year.
I think that's a very tough position. I mean, truly it is.
It's a horrible job. And how does she defend? Biden misspeaks every time he speaks. And then she has to try to defend what he says. Oh, well, let me clarify, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, backtracking on everything that goes on and trying to put a good spin on it. So I don't get it.
I don't know. We'll have to see what this disinformation czar thing does down the road, because that's going to be kind of interesting. But I'll tell you one more point before we kind of back off here. I was watching the news a while ago. Well, when I woke up, I always throw the news on, and they were showing some of these people outside the Supreme Court picketing. And a couple of them had signs that said, banning abortion is racist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, all you have to do is flip on CNN or MSNBC, because those are the channels where everything on God's earth is racist. You can't say a damn thing. You're a racist. They talk about it like everybody in the United States wants to hang every black sucker from a tree. They talk about, and I saw that. And I went, God dang. That's their solution to everything. They're a racist. If you don't support abortion, you're a racist. I mean, liberals got to get that word out of their dang mouth, man. I mean, I'm really getting tired of hearing shit like that. That's the kind of shit that Jesse Jackson, who is a goddamn racist himself, spewed out years ago to everybody. You couldn't walk down the hall and fart. You would be a damn racist. Well, he's doing it. He farted by black people. You know, that floored me, man. Banning abortion is racist. I mean,
I'll put on one more out at you. Everything is also COVID.
Yeah.
If you stub your toe, they're going to give you a COVID test. If you break your arm, they're going to give you a COVID test. You know, if you sneeze, God forbid, in a store, 15 people are going to run.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's a money quarter, which we'll get into. We'll get into that again too.
I'll tell you something that's funny. My wife had the knee surgery, and then she's in like the recovery room back behind the thing and all that. So I went back there, and I go into the room, and the nurse says, "You have to put on a mask to be back here." And I turned to her and I said, "How about you fucking make me put on a mask?" And she just walked out. You know, I mean, I'm so tired of that crap. We have been living mask free in Texas for a year and a half. COVID is not an issue anymore, but they want to make it an issue. Like you said, everything is COVID. Everything is COVID. Everything is a mask. Everything is COVID. You know, that new variant of whatever it was is weaker than the original one. There aren't 80,000 people dying a day. The people that were dying from COVID were dying as a secondary symptom with symptoms they already had. You know, this crap was never nothing more than a damn virus. You know, it's stupid that states like New York still make school children go to school with them stupid ass masks on, and they won't lift that ban. How many kids get COVID? It's not even a child disease. They don't harm. Liberals. This is and I'll throw this point out there just for, you know, why are liberals such cowards? Why are they afraid of everything? Oh, they think they're going to protest out in your yard because they think they have a right to do that, but they're afraid of everything else. We can't help the Ukraine. We're afraid of Russia. We can't help with COVID. We're afraid of the virus. We can't help do this. We're afraid of that. I mean, they're afraid of everything. I guarantee you, if you lined 100 liberals up and you blew up all their houses with all their parents in it, 98 of them wouldn't want to go fight. Well, maybe we should negotiate. It's like Russia with the sanctions. These people who say, oh, the sanctions are working. Sanctions don't work on a guy who's already a billionaire. You think Putin gives a shit? He's got all the money in Russia tied up everywhere. He's got $1 billion yacht. What are sanctions doing? All they're doing is hurting the Russian people. They're not hurting Putin. You want to hurt Putin, launch something on his ass. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a story for another episode, because there is so much going on overseas with Ukraine right now. It's really frightening over there for the Ukrainians. But we can always pray that Putin doesn't press the button over there and really get serious about this deal, because there's been talk about that going on too.
Yeah, but man, I can tell you the odds of him doing that are zero, man. I've even had people I work with. Well, man, Putin's going to lie. He keeps saying he's going to lie. I said, Putin is full of crap. You cannot, that's mutually assured destruction. He launches on the Ukraine. Who launches on him? We do. I mean, a nuclear war ends up with everybody dead.
Oh, that's a no-win situation.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation. It's called mutually assured destruction. He's not going to launch because he can't win. The retaliation will be just as bad as what he did. And, the United States isn't going to allow someone to launch a nuclear weapon on him. I mean, so he's just not going to do it. That's like all that crap with North Korea. And we're kind of getting off on a completely different topic, but that's like North Korea. Everybody, oh, he's got nuclear weapons. He's not going to launch a nuclear weapon. He wants to whack South Korea or Japan. He launches on Japan, one of our primary allies. What do? We launch on North Korea. He just guaranteed his own death. I mean, that's what I mean. I don't worry about that, because man, you'd have to be insane to do that. And Putin's not insane. I don't care what they think they say on TV. The guy's been the ruler of Russia forever now. And whatever happened with that dude? Then about 15 years ago, wasn't Russia a democracy? And now all of a sudden, Putin just seems to get reelected every damn year for the rest of the time.
All right, dude. Well, I think we've got it done for episode number 3. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. Keep listening. We'll have number 4 in the can here fairly soon. Everybody have a great week. Be safe out there, and peace out.
See you later.